before we start. Streaming and sending data. We both streaming? I think we're both streaming. Right. So we're both streaming. So what we're trying to do today is compare, and let me bring this up as well. Compare options for running basically two monitors or off your gaming PC and then sending the through a capture card to a streaming PC. So I've just done a test whereby I only run one monitor. Yeah. So I've just run a benchmark in Fortnite where I only ran one monitor. I capped it at 600 FPS. And this is the result. So that's pretty good. No massive frame time drop. So the target is 598.1 average. So this is what it is with just one monitor. Here's Eppo. So this is what it is with just one monitor. So it's the 480 monitor. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run the same test again, this time with clone. I've now added in the capture card display. So we've got basically two monitors. We've got my main monitor that's running 480 hertz, and then we've got my capture cards, which is running 120 hertz. Now what happens here is I've deliberately not done it to 60 hertz because as soon as you start a game, the game will try to match the hertz for the two monitors as closely as possible. It'll try and increase the second monitor's hertz to however high it can possibly get, close enough to the main monitor's 480. So in this case, the list is the highest one it can go to. Anything with a star it can't do, 119.94. So if I set this to like 60, it would show on the desktop fine, but as soon as I then start the game, it would renegotiate the connection between the displays and the GPU, and then it would increase this capture card to the maximum it can go closest to the 480. So in this case, it's 119.94. So I'm leaving it on 119.94 because it's going to be changing it anyway as soon as I open the game, right? So as I say, I've just done a Fortnite benchmark with just one monitor. Completely pulled out the cable for the capture card, so I've just got the benchmark for the one monitor. Now I'm going to do screen cloning, and then after that benchmark, we're going to try OBS. So we're going to, instead of screen cloning, we're going to have extended ones. So we'll have two separate screens, and then we'll use OBS to kind of send the signal from the main monitor, duplicate it over to the Elgato monitor, and then that sends it to the streaming PC. Make sense? Not sure I explained that clear enough, but hopefully that makes sense. So this is test number 2 I'm about to do now. So this is with cloning. The problem I have with cloning is each time I Alt-Tab, my whole screen goes black for like 10 seconds at least, because I'm running a 480 hertz monitor plus an Elgato capture card, and it's using compression DSC on the display port anyway, and so it has to renegotiate everything between the monitors and the GPU every time it alt tabs, and so you get a big black screen while it's doing that renegotiation. It's driving me nuts. Just because I go back to desktop a lot, and because I'm checking benchmarks or I'm showing somebody something, it drives me insane. So I've been looking at this extra OBS option. So we'll look at that afterwards, which stops the issue of renegotiating all the time. Because as soon as you split the screens so they're not cloning anymore, it doesn't need to do the renegotiation. It's only this cloning that has that. So my options really were the OBS option, or to buy like a splitter box that you could put both HDMI and display ports into, and then it kind of splits it, duplicates the display that way instead of Windows cloning. But I can't find one in the UK, a splitter that does that. They're all out of stock, end of life. They don't seem to make them anymore. So I've only really got a software option, to be honest. I've only got the OBS option. So we'll look at that afterwards. So right now, let's do a test with just cloning the monitors. So whatever gets shown on monitor 1 also gets shown on monitor 2. Both 1 and 2, they're cloning. So if we start the game up now and we run the benchmark, we can see the difference between just having one monitor and a cloned Elgato capture card. We'll see the performance impact. In previous NVIDIA drivers, there's always been kind of weird latency spikes occasionally, and it's not so stable whenever you're doing cloning, especially with G-Sync. If you're using G-Sync and you're using a capture card as well or multiple monitors, it has a real problem with that, and sometimes you get really nasty frame time spikes. So hopefully this OBS solution will be a way around it. So just to be clear, this is OBS running on the gaming PC. I'm already running OBS on the streaming PC, obviously, so you guys can see right now. But I'm not running I've installed OBS on the gaming PC, but I'm not currently running it for the cloning. Yeah? So nod along in the chat if you're following this, please. Otherwise, I'll just keep trying to re-explain. Right, so let's go and do the replay. Like that. 944. Need to go to gameplay, pause, T for time. 944, whack that in there, let it stabilize. I'm capping at 600 for all these tests, just to give it a bit more headroom. Right, ready, steady, go. I play at 600 now anyway on my main gaming environment. This is my test environment, by the way. But my main gaming environment, I have 480 Hz monitor, but I run at 600 FPS cap. That gives it enough headroom so that it never dips below the 480 Hz. So it's always got a fresh frame for every hertz it's doing. So I'm running 600. Never get late frames. When I'm running these tests now, I'm leaving the on-screen display on. It does reduce the performance a little bit, but I think I prefer it when I'm streaming and you can see what's going on. And as long as I'm comparing tests with the same variables each time and only changing one thing, then it doesn't matter. I'm comparing apples with apples. Doesn't matter that it's not as good as it possibly can be. I find this quite useful just to keep an eye on it. You can see if it down clocks, you can see where it's kind of dropping the FPS. It's maintaining 600 pretty well there. So this is only going to be a very short stream before lunch. I'm only running these tests for dual PC capturing. And then I'm going to have lunch, and then I'll be on again later after lunch. Got nobody watching on YouTube yet. I wanted to do it on YouTube as well because then I can just permanently keep the video. It never expires. So I'm doing a dual stream right now just so that I can use this video as a reference for anybody looking to set up the OBS option, and I can explain it to them a lot easier by pointing them at a video and saying go to this timestamp. So 40 seconds left of this replay. We'll have a look to make sure there aren't any weird frame spikes. Zeppo, can you ban that person, please? Five, four, three, two. I just don't want to switch my keyboard to do it. One. Right, so that's done. Let's go and have a look at the results. The black screens. That black screens takes ages. Really annoying. Look at these black screens. Look how long they are. This is the problem with monitor cloning. It has to renegotiate every time. So that one. So this is a 480 monitor. Plus a 120 hertz monitor cloned. Right, let's do a quick comparison. Oh, that's interesting. I got better results than when I had it on its own. Okay. Is that a second run thing? That doesn't make any sense at all. I think I better run the non-cloned option at the end. But that was cloned. Okay. All right, let's do the OBS option. Right, so what we do for the OBS option, what's the timestamp now? 12 minutes into this video. So what we're going to do for the OBS option, we'll close out Fortnite. I'll close that out. Look at how long this takes. Oh my God, it's still black screened. So painful. All right, so then we're gonna take off the display duplicates and we're gonna extend them. That's the first step. This is on the gaming PC, right? After we've extended them, we're then gonna drop the hertz of the second monitor to 60, basically, because it's not going to go up anymore. Now no longer going to go up. Not going to do that anymore. The game is not, when you open the game, it's not going to try and match it anymore for the second monitor. It's just basically whatever you're setting it to. So the second monitor, we're going to have that, and then the main monitor is still 480 hertz. Oh, you can't see this. Why can't you see this? Oh, because you can't see it because I haven't done the OBS bit yet. Okay, let me do the OBS bit, and then you should be able to see it, and then I can show you the OBS bit. All right, so that, open projector, pick that. Right, there we go. So I've just done it. I will not hide OBS. Okay, so you can see what's going on. Right, so all I've done here, so as I was saying a minute ago, before you couldn't see it, so the display is now split. They're extended. You then go into advanced display. So by the way, I moved this into the top right corner just to keep it out of the way. So I dragged the second one up to the top right corner. So you can't kind of go between screens too easily. Then you go advanced display, and then you have the main one at your normal hertz, and the second one you can put it down to just 60, whatever 60 is. I can probably do that one, but I'm just going to leave it at this one for now. I think that 60 changes the active signal, so that's the closest I've got to 60 for the same resolution. So you want them both on the same resolution still. So 1440p in my example. You want them both on the same resolution, but you can now have them your max hertz for your main display and 60 hertz for your secondary display for your Elgato capture card. Yeah, so it's that's the split. Right, so then you want to install OBS. So download OBS, install OBS. And all you want to do in here is just add a source for a display capture. Now you could just add the game, which would actually probably be better performance, but I like showing my entire desktop. I like being able to go to the desktop and show people what I'm doing, how I've set things up. So you add a display capture, and then I've set the display capture to be my main display, and I'm capturing the cursor and I'm forcing SDR. Yeah, they're the only options in this. I don't think I need that. I can probably turn off desktop audio. If that's going, or do I? That's a good question. I'm not sure I've worked out audio yet. Let's leave audio for now. I don't think I need audio because audio is coming from my monitor. Yeah, I don't need that because audio is coming from my monitor. So the GPU via DisplayPort to the monitor, and then the monitor, I've got a splitter where the audio is then going into the capture card as a line in. So I don't need it duplicating there onto the second monitor. Okay, so I can turn that off. Then in settings, you set up, you want to make sure that the video encoder is the MVEC one. You want to make sure the bit rate is 40,000, nice high bit rate. And then just copy these other settings I've got here. Again, this is on the gaming PC. This isn't the streaming PC. This is the gaming PC. Yeah, turn these both off, and you can copy the rest. And then just have 1080p output. And then in the video, wait, is that right? Yeah, because we're not streaming at the moment, that's fine. But it uses some of these settings, so I don't think that matters so much. For the video, I've got my 1440p, or what if you use 1080p, just put 1080p for both of those, and 60 output. So they're the only things you need to do in this. The output, setting the MVEC, the encoder, and then the video like that, whatever your resolution is that you're running on your gaming PC. Yeah. Okay, that's all you needed to do there. And then once you get to, so I disable preview. I can enable preview, but I turn that off because it uses up a bit of resources. But then you right click and you go open preview projector and you select your main monitor. Don't select that one. Well, no, wait. No, it's this one. You do select this one. You select the Elgato one. And then that duplicates the whatever's on the main monitor to the streaming monitor. And that's it. And you just leave that running in the background then. How many projector previews have I got right now? So you lose that. So I have to, yeah, preview that one. There we go. So yeah, as I say, you right click and you do that one, the second one, the Elgato capture card. And then that then sends it to the streaming PC via the capture card, which is why you can now see my main thingy. So that's all set up. So all I need to do now is minimize that so it's running in the background, so you can see that there's projector preview there and that one for these two here. Then run the test. Now we can open Fortnite and we can run the test and see what the performance impact is. So this uses up a little bit of GPU here when it's using that MVEC. So it's using up a couple of % of GPU. So you should see your GPU a little bit higher. But hopefully you're not running a game where you're maxing out your GPU already. So it shouldn't impact it particularly. So you can see the game. Hopefully you can hear the game. Did you hear that? Can you hear that clicking? Can somebody confirm that they can hear that clicking, please, on stream? Yeah, I can see the audio going up actually on OBS. Yeah, cool. So it's clicking away. All right, so audio is coming through the display port cable from the GPU to the monitor, and then the monitor I've got split to my headphones and to the capture card line in. That's how I route my audio. Right, so let's run the test. I'm finding it weird that the single monitor was the worst performance over the clones. Okay, super time, no 44. Let that settle a bit before we press go. Right, on your marks, get set, go.
Capture started.
Hey, Sing. So let me know anyone in the chat that wants me to go over the OBS settings again in a minute. Because I normally just run the monitor clones for streaming. It seems fine with the latest drivers. The biggest downside is that alt tabbing and the 10 seconds you have to wait with a black screen. That's the thing that's driving me insane. But the cloning the monitor is the simplest way of doing it. So Windows cloning the monitor. Whatever's on monitor 1 gets cloned to monitor 2. However, to get around the issue of the 10-second black screens when you alt tab, you need the OBS solution, which we're currently testing. So let's see what impact it has on the FPS, if any. I think I might have to see. I kind of want to do the pull out the second Elgato capture card and just run one display again. But then you guys can't see, which is why I did it at the beginning before I started streaming. But the fact it was lower performance than running a clone doesn't make any sense at all. Because you're doing more work when you're cloning. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. So yeah, this is only a little stream just to do these tests. I'll go over the OBS configuration again at the end. Assuming the performance isn't horrific. If it's horrific, then I won't be using it. What I'll also do is I'll put some screenshots in the streaming tips section of the Discord as well. I'll take some screenshots of OBS on the gaming PC, how I've set it up. With the extended monitors. Right, 23 seconds to go. But in theory, this should be smoother. Albeit using a little bit more GPU. I mean, what's the GPU saying there? Like 66%? Running
Capture
600 FPS on 1440p, 60%. Still got a load of headroom. Right, let's have a look. See how quick that was? I pressed Alt-Tab, instant, no black screen. That's huge for me, if I can get that running. Right, so this is... Oh. Stop. Copy. Plus 60 hertz. Monitor extended plus OB. Oh, flipping it. Stop. Extended plus OBS. Right. There we go. Oh, that's not good. Look at that. What happened there? Oh, horrible. That's a lot of frame time spikes. Okay. Won't be using this if that's what's happening. Let me see. Cloning seems the clear winner at the moment. So you guys could see everything, couldn't you? It's just horrible latency spikes. I've done this right. So that's that, that's that. Those are the same. Those are the same. Those are the same. Same resolutions, just different hertz. Interesting. So that seems fine to me. Oh, that's a shame. I thought I was going to be able to get around this, but it looks like it's not a good idea, given that result. What I might do is I might give it another go after a reboot. I might give it another go after a reboot, just in case something went weird from me just switching between the two. Okay, so I'm going to restart, and I'm going to try it one more time. If those latency spikes are still there, the frame time spikes, then cloning seems to be the way to go. As I say, I mean, having a look at those results earlier, they looked identical to the not having a monitor at all. Happy Thursday, Mr. Bell. I don't know whether... Somebody spammed my chat earlier with a link to their code, Bill. I asked Seppo to ban them, but I don't know if he heard me. I don't know whether you can still see the chat from earlier and ban them for me. I didn't want to press the switch keyboard and mouse in the middle of a test. So at the time, oh, you banned him. Excellent. Thank you, Seppo. Thank you very much, Seppo. So Bill, what we're doing here is we're comparing cloning monitors for a dual stream PC setup to using OBS to do the transfer of, so having extended monitors, but OBS copies the content of the main monitor over to the streaming monitor. So and we just got a very bad result a minute ago for the cloning in OBS. So we will see. So currently we're extended. But if I start OBS up, then you should be able to see open projector, that one. So that then clones. So in OBS, I've then cloned the monitor like I've just done. So at the moment, it's display settings. It's like this. The main monitor, and then that's the capture card. They've got different hertz, so that's 480 hertz, that's 60 hertz. And then in OBS, you configure you basically do a display capture of the main monitor, and then you do a right click here, open preview projector, and then send it to the capture card. And then that duplicates. So you're watching this setup at the moment whereby I'm duplicating via OBS the main monitor. However, the result we just ran a second ago was horrific with all these horrible what's going on here, frame time spikes. compared to cloning, which is this one, which is nice and smooth. So I've just rebooted and we're going to rerun this test again, just in case there was an issue, some kind of issue with switching. So I've rebooted and I've just started OBS back up again. So this is the OBS routing issue, routing option. So it's got a projector preview from the primary screen to the second screen, which is what you're looking at. So I'm going to run the test again, just to make sure it wasn't some weird glitch. Let's go. But this OBS method was recommended by most tweakers a year or so ago instead of cloning. They're like, oh no, you can't do cloning. That adds a load of latency, loads of FPS drops, blah, 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 blah. And I never had a problem unless I was using G-Sync. If I was using G-Sync with multiple monitors, some of the drivers, the NVIDIA drivers, did have those nasty spike issues. But if you're running multiple monitors, my general rule is use fix refresh, and then it didn't have a problem. So I'm dual streaming right now so that YouTube has a record of this, so I can just refer people back to it if they want to try this OBS method. But the cloning is my normal recommended method. But let's see if that was an anomaly or whether it is actually bad. Gameplay, pause. D for time, 944. Gotta do some lunch in a minute. Right, ready, steady, go. So this is the second run. Let's see if this gets any big stutters after a reboot. Yeah, but what was weird was my single monitor, when I pulled out the capture card completely, the results were slightly worse than when I cloned, which makes no sense at all. Should have had to have some overhead for cloning. Oh, back in the day when hammers were in the game still. OXR sucks. I'm not a fan of OXR at all. See, from those frame times it looks fine. The FPS, that looks fine. But whether or not it's doing big frame time spikes, I don't know. I mean, maybe the OBS is interfering with the CapFrame X capture itself and the actual gameplay is fine. Maybe. A possibility. But if cloning is not really adding any overhead, then I'm going to just stick with that. Really good result with that cloning option. Yeah, so the other option is to find an adapter that splits the signal. So you have the display port coming out of the GPU only into the splitter, and then the splitter then continues with a display port out and also has a HDMI out, so it's split it, and the HDMI then goes to the capture card. But it looks like in the UK you can't get hold of those devices anymore. They used to be about 50 quid, and they're all end of life or out of stock. I've been using like ChatGPT to look for them on the internet and everything else. So the splitters, I can't find them. They're like a little box that you feed the cables into. It splits it. Just doesn't seem available anymore in the UK. But they're very niche, those things. So,
Capture finished.
right, let's see if this is horrific as well. Look how quick that goes. I mean, I know you got a little black screen, but that was instant for me. I didn't get a black screen at all when I alt-tabbed. This is what I'm trying to get around, the silly 10 seconds black screens. Right, so is this any better? No. Not any better. So that's not viable. That's not a viable option. Look at it, it's horrific. Really, really bad. So this is the monitor on its own. No capture card at all. This is cloning. It actually got better results. I don't quite understand why. And then this is using the OBS method. Horrible. So yeah, you definitely don't. What? I mean, look at that. Yeah, no, thank you. But unless I've done something wrong, I mean, obviously you can see everything, and we're using the OBS method right now for you guys at home watching this. So it's obviously working, it's functional. It's just doing these horrific frame time spikes every couple of seconds. Massive amounts of stuttering. I mean, look at these lows. I mean, they're going down to 8. Whereas the clones one, look, the low percent average is 214. That's really good. That's actually better than when I wasn't running it at all. So I'm obviously going to stick to the cloning option and not the OBS option. So let's go back to that. Let's walk through how to put that back on. So let's close Fortnite out. Close it out, and we'll put it all back. So we're going to close this projector preview thing, so you won't be able to see for a second. And I'll close OBS, and then I'm going to go into display settings, and I'm going to go back to duplicate these displays. And you'll get them on. You'll get it back in a sec. So there we go. Keep changing. So now I've now changed it back to duplicate these displays. Change displays, and now I've got the really slow black screen back for 10 seconds every time I alt tab out of a game, but the performance is excellent. And this is the easiest way of doing it, to be honest. Just make sure that both displays are on the same resolution. The capture card and the whatever you're running, 1440p, 1080p, 4K, 8K, whatever, make sure these are both on the same resolution, but they can be on different hertz. And note that when you start a game and you're cloning the displays, what will happen is that the second monitor will whatever you set this to on the desktop, the game will try and match the primary monitor's hertz as close as it can. In other words, it will choose the highest number on this list that's available. So even if you're running 60 hertz on the desktop, because I've got 119 hertz 0.94 available, ignore the star ones. They're not available. They're listed but not available. Even if I set it to 60 hertz on the desktop, when I start the game up, the game will change the second monitor to the closest it can possibly get to match the primary monitor. So in this case, the highest one available. So I normally now just choose the highest available already for the desktop, so it doesn't have to make that change when it goes into the game. Does that make sense? Have I explained that clearly enough? So ideally you'd want like 60 hertz for the capture card. But as I say, the game will change it to try and change it to the highest on this list. Now, this list is determined by something called an EDID file, which is actually on the streaming PC in which you can set in the Elgato 4K capture utility, and you can sort of choose different EDID files in that config for your capture card. So I can change that list by either selecting 1440p or general for the EDID, and then it will change the list of available resolutions. The 1440p one, the highest on the list is 144, so I've just gone with the general option because the highest on the list is lower, 119. Obviously, I just want to keep this second monitor as low as possible, so it's not, the GPU is not doing extra FPS to send to it. Right. But I mean, those results look good to me. I mean, as I say, this is the simplest way to run the gaming PC setup, where you've got effectively a main monitor and a capture card as the second monitor, and then you just clone them, you just duplicate them. This is the easiest way of doing it. And from these results, it looks like it's the best performance as well by a long, long, long way, because it seems that the OBS method has issues. I mean, I don't know whether I needed to do something in the NVIDIA control panel as well for it, but it definitely does not like it with the extended mode and the OBS using the preview to clone it. That is horrific. 5.6 low average versus cloning it, nice 214. Nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. Wonder what's doing the extra work. Is it CPU load went up? A little bit, not much, only 2. What's causing the stutters, do you think? The GPU? Yeah, the GPU load is much higher there. Look, 68 versus cloned 54. Doing a lot more work. And getting stuttering as a result. So something's not syncing up, is it? Maybe it doesn't like it because I'm running RTSS. Maybe it doesn't like using RTSS for it. It could have been the reason. I mean, RTSS was obviously working because we had an on-screen display. We had an on-screen display down here, didn't we? So RTSS is obviously hooking fine. I'm now wondering whether the cloned extended OBS thing didn't work because of this. Maybe I should set 600 FPS cap in the config file and then bypass RTSS completely. We see if that's the issue quick? I think we should see if that's the issue quick. Okay. So we're going to basically close RTSS completely. Oh no, I can't close RTSS because we're using CapFrameX. Okay, let's bypass it by doing 0. So that's not then doing the frame capping, but we're going to do the frame capping in game. And so to do that, I need to go into the game user settings file and set the FPS to 600. Where are you? Should be 0.000000. Frame rate limit. Okay, we'll go 600 in there. Save that. Right, so we're not capping in RTSS, we're capping in the game. Hopefully that bypasses it now. All right, so we'll go back to extending. I just want to give it a fair chance. I don't want to completely dismiss it. There's obviously an issue. Changes, so it's doing that and that. Should we check the NVIDIA control panel while we're here as well? Just to see it's not doing anything weird. Normal. Multiple displays. Okay, that looks normal to me. 1 and 2, I guess. Yeah, I think that's fine. Why is that on aspect ratio? That one as well. I don't know why that got put on aspect ratio. Right, so both of those are no scaling. So they should be 1440p and just different hertz. Yeah. Check this. I might put that on the same hertz as we had here as well as the clone test. Keep it less things that are variables. All right. So we are not capping RTSS in game. We are using in-game capping now. Let's see if we can get it smoother. So now we need to go into OBS, start that up, right click, project it onto the capture card. So you guys can now see primary display because we've just done the projection thing. We've got the projector preview. So whatever's on main monitor now gets copied over to the capture card monitor by OBS. We're bypassing RTSS. Right, let's run another test. One more test. I just want to give it a fair shout. And if RTSS was interfering or the fact that 60 Hertz was interfering, then I want to know. It's interesting to me that the cloning result was better than the no monitor at all, which means to me that the cloning option has no downsides other than if you're going to use G-Sync potentially. Right, okay, let's run the replay. 944. See, good time. 944. Let it settle. 3, 2, 1, go.
Capture started.
Keeping an eye on that GPU utilization. So it is quite high. It's been up to 76. So in OBS, the GPU should be doing that copy from one screen to another. The GPU should be doing that work, not the CPU. As I set the MVEC encoder. Yeah. 2 minutes or so to go. I'm going to put the oven on. While I wait, we'll be right back. Food's on for everybody. We're ready in half an hour. Did that go over 600 there? Did you spot that?
Capture finished.
601. Alright. Have a look. See if we got rid of those frame time spikes. Any better? No, not any better. So something fundamentally wrong with this setup. This doesn't like it at all. Of course, if you're going off of feel, you wouldn't have noticed that probably. Good job I'm actually testing it, isn't it? So single monitor, cloned, OBS extended, 60 hertz, OBS extended, 120 hertz. It's actually a bit better when you bypassed RTSS. But still awful. Still awful. The cloning. It seems cloning your monitors is the way to go. Oh, for that. Unfortunately, that means me putting up with the annoying 10-second renegotiating black screens. So instead of extending, we're going back to duplicating. Keep changes. So we're back to duplicating. We do not need OBS anymore because we're not using that to do the duplication. We're just letting Windows do it. So I think the only viable options are either Windows cloning them or buying a splitter and finding a splitter that can take one single DisplayPort cable in, and then it can split that into another DisplayPort cable, which then goes into the back of your monitor, and an HDMI cable, which goes into your capture card. But the issue with that splitter as well, it needs to be able to support 480 Hz DSC compression across it as well, so that it doesn't mess up your monitor when it actually gets to the monitor bit. I can't find one of those in the UK, a splitter that will do that. So we're back to where we started, really. Cloning. Bring in the clone. And then, as I say, note that your capture card will go up to the highest possible option when you start your game, and you don't even realize it's done it. I only found out the other day because I was watching what my Elgato 4K capture utility said was coming in all of a sudden when I started Fortnite, and I was like, why has that just changed? I wouldn't have known otherwise, because the only way to actually see if you're just on the gaming PC is to go back to the desktop and have a look. But when you go back to the desktop and have a look, it's gone back to 60. So you wouldn't even know it's gone to 120 when it was in game. It's only because I looked on my second PC that I saw that. But that's it, I'm afraid. I'm a little bit disappointed at that. Gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed at that. Hoping the results would be a lot better. I still don't understand this though. I still don't understand why I got slightly better results when I was cloning compared to when there wasn't a second monitor at all. That's a little confusing. The standard deviation in the test results, maybe? Maybe. I mean, obviously I can't stream that to you guys. As soon as I pull out the plug for the second monitor, you guys can't see what's going on. So I have to do that offline. I suppose I can run another one in a minute when I stop the stream. But yeah, that's weird that they did this. That's pretty much identical, doesn't it? These dips are garbage collection dips in the code. Nothing you can do about that. That space between there and there is exactly the same space as that between there and there. They are every 61-second garbage collections in Fortnite code. Nothing you can do about that. other than have a crazy good Apex motherboard, which lowers the dips a bit. That's the only thing you can do against that. Anything else I can... Any questions? That all make sense? Did I explain all that clearly enough? Yeah, I am very disappointed in that OBS option. Very disappointed in the OBS option. So the conclusion here is cloning is number one, easiest. Number two, best performance. And you're just going to have to, if you're like me with a high frequency monitor that uses compression, DSC, down the display port, it's going to be renegotiating with the and the second monitor for a capture card. It's going to renegotiate with the GPU every time you alt tab, and it's going to give you a black screen for 10 seconds, which is annoying, but you've got the easy setup and you've got the good performance. So annoying versus those two. Right, I think we're done, unless anybody's got any questions. Any questions? Any questions? Yeah, Bueller. What's for lunch? Fish and chips. I put those in the oven, but I need to put some peas on for everybody. Everyone's having it. Even the missus. Very rare that we all eat the same thing. Very rare. I honestly can't think of another meal that we actually all eat the same thing. All. Cheese and crackers. Nice. Nice. Very nice. Oh, I need to fix what I did tonight. So frame rate limit 600. Although shouldn't really be doing 600 on this one because my test environment, I should be doing 600 on the other one. And then I need to undo this and change the limit back to 0 on this. Yeah, frame rate limits back to 0 on that. So the RTSS is doing the frame capping. I think that's it. And grapes. Oh, very posh. These crackers and grapes. Just need the wine. All you need is the wine now. Anything else? I don't think so. Yeah, cheers. Reno. No, that's it. Right. Any questions? Jump on my Discord and ask. Anyone interested in improving their PC's performance? Go to the website alexanderthedad.com. That's got lots of information about what you can do and what you should do. alexanderthedad.com. That should work. Let's just double check that does work. Yeah, I did type that correctly. Otherwise, I will see you guys later for some games. Cool. Thanks for tuning in.